Okay, so let's talk about my biggest takeaways from the History of China class this semester. And to start off, I want to talk about my interest in history in general. Really, I've taken past history classes, and in the schools I've been in before, history is really all about memorization. And do you know the dates, and do you know who was the emperor, and who do you know if do you know who was the king, and what happened in 1942? Who cares? But what interests me is why things happen the way they do and why things are the way they are today. And that's really what you've emphasized throughout the semester as well, and that's what I thought was the most fascinating part about the whole course. And going into the semester of history in China, China's always been mysterious, and I've never really been educated about it. So going in, I wanted to see what I think about it and how those things compare to what it actually is and how it actually happened that way. So, for example, the one-child policy or the talk about how they don't allow religion, all these things have crazy stories before, and it's something that only 3,600 years of history could capture, and all of this is still evident in China today, and really it's on my bucket list to go and visit China now, so I'm excited. But one of the most fascinating parts, and I just want to share this quick before I get to the biggest takeaway and the echo over time. What I thought was the most interesting part was how China's experience with religion and their bad experience led to the um, ban on religion in China today. That's really what I thought that was the most fascinating, and that opened my mind up to so many other things relevant to Chinese history and relevant to life today. So, on that note of echoes over time, I'm gonna begin with my biggest takeaway, and here it is. Okay, so echoes over time. I'm gonna be talking about the politics in China, and it's really interesting because we see that in the beginning, the way China was founded, there was one ruling body, and then it was the main leader, and then it was a feudal system in the Zhou feudalism, and he had other people who ruled some of his land. So it's like renting out your land, and then the other people, you trust them, so then they take good care of it. And so it was one person at the top, and then he had a bunch of other people that were the feudal states. And I want to compare this to the United States government because today we have obviously our main government with the Senate, the House, the White House, all those things, um, and then we have our 50 states that each rule individually. And the problem with China throughout history was that the feudalism in China was the Achilles heel. So the problem was that people became corrupt and that they couldn't manage to really get anything done anymore. And I believe that today in America, the similar things are happening because we have one government that is so split apart between Republicans and Democrats that they really don't get anything done, and there are states, and it's just, I think it's a big mess, and that was the problem with the feudalism as well. They were so split apart, and this really hurt the Chinese government in the long run. So as we look on, so that was wave one, the feudal system. That was in wave one. So as we look on to wave two, we can see that it was Qin, and he established the centralized bureaucracy, and it was surprising. He actually got a lot done, but some people might say he was a monster. But personally, I think that the way he ruled and the things he did was amazing. He he had so many great things. He built the Great Wall. He um, he unified the people. He wanted to get them all on one tax system. He made many things standard, and I think that was great. He might have gone a little overboard with the terracotta warriors, the mausoleum, those things, but I mean, I think what he created with the Confucian exams that happened is so there were Confucian exams to figure out who the people were that were allowed to lead. So then there was a top, that was the government, and then all the other people were below. And that system of government was a little bit better, but then it was like, I'm gonna compare it to the United States again. The Occupy movement with the 99% that work hard, and then the 1% that have to that reap the benefits of the lower class, the filthy rich people. So it's kind of like that, and but he did do a good job of unifying the people. Um, so that was the echo then, and then we're gonna move on to what's going on in China today. So, as we know, well, we think we know that we have a communist system in China, but do we really? Is it really a true communist system? According to Marx's stage, it goes from feudalism to capitalism to socialism and communism. So according to this, no one has ever had a true communist system. So how can we be the people to judge if communism is bad or not? What we're seeing in China right now is the socialism, because the factory rulers, the factory workers are ruling. And what Mao tried to do was he wanted a government, but he wanted the people to rule the government. And we've never had that. The government has always been that big power over us, and I think that will eventually lead to big problems, not only in the entire world, because I'm gonna I really don't trust many of the things that the government does, but I think that that's not the thing that's the problem. The government might be corrupt, but there's really no way to go around that. I think that's human nature. And the problem that we must look at is that we're not getting anything done in today's democracy. We think we're the best, and we have examples of this when people try to go in and if we think the best. I wrote a nice blog post about this, not mandatory, but I have nice thoughts about this. When we think that we're the best with our democracy, and that everyone should have a democracy like us, but really a democracy, I think, is bad. And in my Confucius essay, I wrote about this a little as well. So we really, if it goes back to Confucius, we know that there is an echo. Anyway, the democracy, when there's two parties, all the parties do is fight. You know, they're so split apart. What I wish we could do is if we had one party that mediated the wishes of both. Of both sides, because I read something about this today. No one is true completely left or completely right. So, everyone's a little in the middle. So if we could get the people overall to be happy, then I think that's a big goal that we should strive to achieve it. Because the presidents, they're very towards one side, and the people, I think everyone is more in the middle. Either you agree with some of Romney's ideas and some of Obama's ideas. But so what we should do is we try to get one government that takes care of all of the people, and I think that's what communism is trying to do, and that's what it's been. Well, that's what its goal is. The people are the ones ruling, and this is according to Mao, and then the government is there um, to serve the people, and that the people control the government. So it's really interesting that what happens in the Chinese political system in the future. So that was how Chinese political system went from the Zhou feudalism in wave 1 to Qin establishing a centralized bureaucracy in wave 2, and then in today's world, Mao with his attempt to achieve a true communist system and state. Okay, and just to get sentimental with you a little bit, I really enjoyed the past semester, and yeah, I feel like you taught me more than just how to memorize, but you taught me how to, first of all, question things. That's something that I really learned, is if you get an article, figure out who it was by, who wrote it, and another thing was that, and the biggest thing I feel like is what you helped me with is the attention to detail. Especially my writing. When I was working on my final exam on this scroll, I capitalized every I and I capitalized every China. And I think from now on, for till I die, I think that something like that sticks with me. So I want to let you know that you really did make an impact on me, and that I'm grateful for what you did. Thank you.